If you love the idea of mindful eating and healthy living, join me, Izelle Hoffman, lifestyle chef, food editor, and author, as we explore ways of achieving health and balance.
This week we're talking all about self-love, self-care, and that does not mean we are being selfish. I have a phenomenal guest. She is, in fact, an award-winning manager and a dermal esthetician with over 16 years of experience in the industry. Now, she's also the CEO of Dermology Aesthetic and Laser Clinic Group. Lourette du Toit, welcome in studio.
Thank you, Izelle. It's so exciting being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we get the privilege of talking to you today, and you're going to be sharing all this phenomenal knowledge you've got around skin and everything that you do. But first things first, what does mindful living mean to you, and where did your journey start?
My journey started way back at about 2005 when I started my studies at Isaac Carstens in Stellenbosch. I was there for about 3 years, and then I went onto the cruise ships, and I had the...
No, stop it.
Yeah, and I had the beautiful time sailing in the Caribbean islands, went to the cross-Atlantic, in the Mediterranean as well. And then from there, I went into the bush. I started my journey at Singita.
The best of both worlds, right?
Yes.
Which one is the best? Sorry, I'm chipping in there, but the bushveld or the coast or the sea or the Mediterranean? I mean, you've seen it all.
So now I can definitely say it's the bush. I am out and out a bush girl.
Oh, such a bush baby.
Yes.
Okay.
So I joined Singita and I was their spa manager for about 5 years. And that's where the old age cliche happened, where the spa therapist and the game ranger fell in love. You know?
I love that. The fairy tale of the bushveld.
Yes. So my husband and I, although we were then fiancés, moved into the city. So I went from the ocean to the bush to the city.
Tell us all about, I see you also like a beauty blogger and all this kind of stuff.
Yes, so I started at Dermology in 2013 when they opened their doors.
Yeah.
My passion for the skin industry has always been there. And as the years went on, it just grew, and it's become this incredible urge inside of me that I just want to do something with it. And I wasn't really sure what that direction would be.
Yeah.
And finally, I came into the aesthetic industry, and that's where I started working with Dermology as the practice manager. I started specializing in skin and laser, and I found my niche. So that's where the whole beauty and skin industry is coming from.
What would you say are being mindful about your service offering and what you offer to clients and customers? Now, you sort of briefly touched on that. It's about finding your niche and being passionate about what you believe in your field of experience.
So when we treat skin, that's the service that we offer, but it's so much more than that. I always say our treatments are much deeper than skin deep. It's not just getting that result on the skin, but getting the minds better, getting the confidence better of the people. I've had patients who gets up in the morning early before their husbands to put on foundation, so that's the kind of things that I want to change. So there's a lot of deeper than skin deep treatments that we do, but further than that, it's also the team that I work with. Everybody on site at Dermology, on our premises, we work together. We always say dream team.
I think people like yourselves can almost see yourself as a skin psychologist in a way, because your skin says so much about your confidence. If you've got glowing skin and beautiful skin and you just feel good in your skin, you radiate confidence, where on a bad day or when you're not happy with the condition of your skin, I think it's got the flip side of the effect, really.
Yes. So we all know the saying, there's nothing more alluring than a confident woman. And what makes a confident woman? There's a lot about us, even though we know we're not supposed to be comparing, that inner self is always going to dwell into that direction. And we need to teach ourselves, we need to teach our minds on what is important. And that's, again, what we surround ourselves with. Yeah. And that's why I like to surround myself with people in my team. It's not not just me and the team. We all are together, and being together, these different personalities, and making sure our minds stay aligned. We're focusing on our future. We're focusing on our individual goals, working together to reach that, So that's what I'd like to focus on.
Now, when you walk into the doors of Dermology, right here, the first time I walked into the Santon branch, I was like, oh, wow, all these people are so friendly, and everyone's got glowing, beautiful skin. Clearly, they've got something I don't, and then please tell me more. And, you and I started my skin journey because, I approached you with a little bit of dark spots on my forehead, and pigmentation is quite a thing out there. And I think a lot of women do struggle with it. Myself as well. Years ago, I used to be, for extra pocket money, I used to be a swimming coach. And I think that's where I made the mistake, not the right foundation, not the right SPFs, not the right skin prep and treatment. And I've always been blessed with quite a good skin, but I didn't keep my foundation correct. And let's maybe talk about that quickly. When is the right age to start looking after your skin? Because I now, looking back, believe you're never too young to start.
Absolutely. I've got 2 children. They're 3 and 6 years old. Since babies, they've been lathered in sunblock.
Oh my goodness. Now all I'm thinking is those memes with these kids with the white faces, on the beach playing with the sand. Was that yours?
No, so that's physical sunblocks. I'm not going to do that. I'm just covering them head to toe, making sure they both have opposite skin types.
Okay.
Yeah. So my daughter is my husband's skin type, darker Fitzpatrick, so darker skin color, and my son is like me. We're very light, so they need different kinds of protection in the sun as well, and they burn differently.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you start imprinting that, just the sunblock and the importance of sunblock in someone so young, it's easier to do as you grow up. Because to this day, I'll meet a 60-year-old man who just refuses to wear sunblock because he doesn't like how it feels on his skin.
The same for me, in my industry where I get to play in the kitchen quite often, I always stress the same as well. I always say to parents, or siblings even, get the younger ones involved in the kitchen. Make them help while they're still curious and want to help, so that when they grow up, they don't see cooking and looking after themselves and preparing meals for themselves as a chore. They sort of see it as, this is just part of daily life. And I feel like, certain things like brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, and putting a good sunblock on before you leave the house, that is sort of foundation things that needs to be right.
Yes, 100% agree.
Now, let's talk about where listeners can find out more, about what you do exactly. Where can people find you on Facebook?
Very simple, at Dermology. We're on there. We are very active on social media, as most people are these days.
Lourette does these quirky little videos, and I always have a laugh. Usually it's like while I'm waiting for a client or before a meeting, and you scroll down your Instagram. Oh, easy van Lourette. We just have to have a looky quickly. Absolutely love your little quirky reels. Yes. So on Facebook, you've said, and on Instagram, what's your handle there?
Dermology_Africa.
You're also on TikTok and quite on Twitter as well.
Yes, same handles.
Oh, and then website, last but not least.
www.dermology.co.za.
It's as simple as that. Apart from working with laser and pigmentation and the service offering that you help me with, what other things do you offer?
So we do everything skin related. It's very exciting. I often refer to myself as a cook. Because you remember, or a chef, you put together, you take a little bit of this, and you make up your own ideal recipe for that unique person in front of you.
And what I like about what you just said is I do believe everyone is different. Usually when people come to me for nutritional or dietary advice, I say to them, but you can't compare yourself to me, or you can't compare yourself to your sister, your mother, your friend, because you're not the same person. You don't have the same DNA. You don't have the same life. What is your stress levels, your work hours, your family time? What is it that consumes your 24 hours in a day? Because not one person is the same. And I'm sure, when someone comes to you, for you it's an open canvas. The skin is going to tell the story, and it's going to show you what the lifestyle looks like on the inside, is going to reflect on the skin. How do you work with that? Because people must come to you often for a quick fix.
Yes, and that we immediately say, there's no such thing as a quick fix. We are results driven, so it's super important to not just try and treat the skin from the outside, but understand the whole picture. Understand what that person is going home to tonight, like you just said. What does their day, their normal 24-hour day look like? Are they capable of putting or using 10 products in the morning? No, we are busy people.
No, I don't have time to use 10 products in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also just expectations. Do they have a skin condition that's there to stay? Then you have to say, this is not going anywhere. We can improve it dramatically, but it can flare up again at any point. So by making sure we setting that expectations, looking at the body as a whole, the body and the mind, the environment they surround themselves, gut health, all of that, we will be able to not just recommend what we can do, but also refer to other specialists and combine a full picture or recipe for that person so that they can get the best results for them.
And results that's going to be staying for the long term, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because often people's like, no, they need to start using this cream or go for that procedure or for this treatment because they want to get rid of X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. But if they don't change what's in their lifestyle that is causing it, no product is going to permanently resolve the problem. The problem starts with you, and the choice that you make on a daily basis.
You can go for slimming treatments, but if you're going to continue eating food it's going to do the opposite, it's not going to work.
Now, talking about food and eating, what would you say is a good relationship with food, Lourette, and how does that relate to the condition of your skin?
I think everybody has their own relationship. There's no one specific good relationship with food. It's very important to maintain that healthy relationship, though, is to understand why are you putting these ingredients in your body. Now, when we look at skin, there's definitely a lot ingredients that will aid to healthy skin, and that's going to benefit to your skin's health.
Okay. What's your go-to foods that you can say assist in helpful glowing skin?
My go-to is absolutely antioxidants.
Oh, so I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. So often the very first ingredient that I would recommend people to use on their skin is an antioxidant. We need to fight that free radicals in the skin. We need to work on the healthy skin barrier, make sure we have that prolonged protection on the skin in addition to your SPF, but not just from the outside. We also need to treat from the inside.
Yes.
And that's the food and the supplements.
Now, you're the expert here, not me today, but for listeners out there that don't know what an antioxidant is.
It's your most powerful ingredient that you can put in your skin or in your body. So from a skin-related point of view, your antioxidant is going to fight the free radicals, and that's the bad guys that's in your skin. It's caused by wear and tear, something like smoking, things like that. That's going to
environmental
impact on the skin. So it's going to attack that and aid in the restructuring of your skin and getting that skin healthier.
My go-to antioxidant, I love blueberries. It's ideal to snack. It's ideal to be padkos if you're on your way between meetings or in a rush. I love them frozen. Add them to smoothies in the morning. In fact, the antioxidants is quite higher when they are in fact frozen, blueberries. So it's just, I don't know, that's sort of my favorite go-to little snack that I've got on the road. And of course, almonds. Absolutely love almonds. Loaded with vitamin E. That, of course, is definitely good for the skin. So I always say it's always the best reason to have an extra handful of roasted almonds, right? We're not always focused on the calories. We more focus on the quality of the calories. And at the end of the day, I do believe that plays such a big role. Quality over quantity it's always for me. And I'm sure in your role and what you play and from a product point of view, I mean, earlier you did say it's not always about putting 10 products on your face in the morning. It's about the quality of the products and making sure that you address the problems that you have.
100%. It's very important to make sure you address the concerns from that point of view. If you've got an unhealthy skin barrier, but you want to go onto this powerful pigmentation range that's got 10 products, a cleanser, toner, a serum, exfoliator, you're not going to help the problem. In fact, you can even worsen it. So it's extremely important. I call it skip care. So we're going to skip skincare.
Skip skincare.
So skip care, take a step back.
A little bit of a tongue twister there.
Take a step back and get back to the basics. Get your skin healthy again, and then you start incorporating a few ingredients to ensure you're targeting the condition that you actually want to improve.
Now, I want to talk sunblock for a second, or a SPF. Often people think the higher, the better. But is it really better? Because sometimes that, other people then say, but too high SPF contains a lot extra chemicals, and I suppose that's where the quality of the product comes into play again.
Yeah, I mean, that's an age-old conversation about the different SPFs, what's better, physical versus chemical. At the end of the day, SPF is going to last on your skin for a certain amount of time. So your reapplication is key. Just because your SPF says it's SPF 50, you can't put it on today and then forget about it. After 2 hours, it might just be gone, or if you went to, if you had a gym session, or if you went swimming or showering, it's gone also. So the key with skincare or with SPF is reapplication.
People, make a note. Reapplication of your SPF, especially December holidays at the beach. And often you do get a proper tan in the bushveld as well. Yeah. Let's not forget about that one.
Yes. and sometimes people don't want to reapply the skincare because they say, I've got makeup on. But these days, there's beautiful mineral brushes that you dust the SPF on top of your foundation. And it's absolutely stunning.
Okay, I need to make a mental note of that. I have not heard of that one before. But Lourette, you're a mom as well. And we've spoken about your 2 beautiful kids that you've got and your husband that's quite out of the country quite often. Now, how do you deal with that as a working mom, a career woman, and then also making time for yourself as well in between all of that?
So the very first thing that I can tell you is to get the mind right. There's no point in sitting in a corner and feeling sorry for yourself. When my husband and I started dating, that was the case. He told me, listen, this is going to be my career. I'm going to be traveling often. And I knew what I was getting myself into, and then already we dealt with it.
Okay.
And then as time went on and my career sort of boomed as well, currently this year I'm also traveling internationally for presentations. We've got 2 beautiful children, 3 and 6 years old. We've got obviously a whole family set up at home and our different businesses. So it's never about the time that we are away from each other, but more the time that we are together. So we make sure that when we are together, that it is indeed quality time.
Yes. And talking about quality and time specifically, from a health perspective, I always say time and, food and nutrition is 2 of the things that when you invest it in yourself, it's the best investment that you will ever make. And, in a way, the same applies to all different aspects of your life. I mean, you can spend time with someone, but is it necessarily quality time? Just because you're under the same roof doesn't actually mean you're spending quality time.
Yeah. No, 100%. You can easily become roommates.
Oh, geez. Now you take me back to varsity days. Let's not give our age away. Yeah. But tell me, whether your husband is at home often and not traveling too much or not, are you a good cook? And what is your go-to recipe for your family? Maybe tell me when husband's not around and when he is.
Oh, yeah. So, fun fact, I don't see myself as a very good cook.
Fun fact.
Yeah, fun
she only
fact
cooks with ingredients during the day at
Yes.
Dermology, yes, but at home not so much.
My adventurous recipes happens at work.
Okay.
But we are very simple eaters. There's often no sauces and things like that. It's very plain and simple and raw. My children, growing up, I was a very, very picky eater. I think my mom will exaggerate that. But it was difficult for me to eat new things.
Okay.
Even to this day. But
Creature of habit.
Creature of habits, and my children are the same. My husband blames me for that.
We'll get his comments on a later occasion.
But when he's home, we often eat. We are also very health orientated, so we eat a lot of veggies, a lot of protein, simple. Growing up on a farm as well, being a farm girl, you get that one pot with the chicken and the veg. That's my go-to. That's my go-to meal.
And a nice, either like an oxtail with beautiful veggies, or a chicken pot, or just something that you can pair with a roast veggie, maybe a baked potato or something like that, or rice or a salad on the side. Yeah. Am I up your alley now?
I'm a big potato eater.
Oh, there we go. And deep fried or roasted?
Roasted.
There we go. Now we're talking my language. Yeah. Now, if I had to, say, choose one of the recipes in my chapter called You Only Live Once in book. And for listeners out there, I'm going to make Lourette choose her favorite recipe, because that's the recipe we're going to share on the Jacaranda website for you to try at home as well. And we hope she chooses well, because there's a lot of recipes in there and not one of them is there to disappoint.
Absolutely not. It was very difficult for me to choose. But saying that, as I opened the chapter, there was one that was screaming out at me immediately. I had to page through everyone, all the other recipes, but I did come back to this one. It's the sweet potato chocolate brownies.
Now, yes, I absolutely love sweet potato. Anti-inflammatory, low GI, and it's just one of my favorite vegetables. That and butternut. Yes. I promise you, a whole tray roasted in the oven just like that. Oh, I'm a very happy camper, and I do glamping. I'm not so much a camper.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, more on the glamping side of life, right? Yes. Funny enough, the way I created that recipe was the one day I had lots of sweet potato at home, and I always say, my begin point for all my starting point for every single recipe I develop is the key is always the quality of the ingredients. So sweet potato was on the table, and I was like, okay, but so what can I make with this today? I've roasted it, I've cut it into wedges, and I've made chips before. So all the basic stuff. And I mean, all these things are usually just oven roast or pop into the oven or an air fryer. And that day I was like, I feel like something sweet. And then when you start mashing them, it's got a beautiful, like a fudge-like texture almost. And then I was like, ooh, some raw cacao in here, because I love, my calcium. So loaded with also antioxidants in there. And then, of course, you had to sweeten it a little bit. So raw honey went into the mix. And then a bit of caramel essence was also there, and some almond butter to cream it up. And a few eggs later into the oven, Bob's your uncle. Out came a brownie. And it's one of the nicest ways to sort of sneakily teach children how to eat vegetables. So I would love to know what your two little ones at home would think of that one.
I'm going to run home and make this. Today's the day they're going to eat vegetables.
Do you sit with that problem where they struggle to eat the veggies that you prepare?
So they're more vegetable eaters than meat eaters.
Okay.
I think it's just with, growing up in a wildlife family. We're big wildlife people, bush babies, and a very big love for animals. My husband and I, we're not vegetarian, but I'm sure my children are definitely en route to being vegetarians.
Okay. So. And I mean, nowadays, there's so many different, let's call it diet or food programs that people can look into. But again, at the end of the day, there's not really for me a good or a bad one. It depends on what works for you as a person. Yeah. You went back to your lifestyle, your DNA also plays a role, your blood group plays a role. There's so many different elements. And of course, whether you want to go run the Comrades or cycle, a race here and up in Johannesburg, or whatever the case might be, eat according to what your body needs.
So the other night I gave them some chicken. Okay. And I put it on the table, and my little boy is 3. He says, no, I don't want to eat chicken. And my daughter, she's the bigger animal lover. She's like Snow White, sings for the birds. She says to him, no, Jack, it's not real chicken. Saying that it's a vegetable.
Oh, my goodness. And did he eat it?
He ate it, and I stayed quiet.
Oh, shame. It's not real chicken. Oh. I do believe in giving back, whether it's giving back your time to your family, to your children, to your loved ones. Giving back is not always about charity. It's about making your time available for someone else and choosing the people that you want to invest your time into. But would you say that is the key to happiness?
Absolutely. I feel so much better when I've given someone something. And what I've recently done at Dermology is at the different branches, I've launched my own future skin project where I'm just choosing a few models. No, not celebrities or anybody. I'm just saying, send me your condition, something that's bothering you.
Yeah.
Of course, I had a few perfect skins come through, but I want like someone who who's struggling with their confidence with their skin. And I chose 3 per branch, and then I fly to the different branches and I treat them myself and take them through that journey of getting them confident again to just put on a tinted SPF in the mornings.
Oh, you say different branches, so there's more than one branch then.
Yes, so that's exciting. When I became the CEO of Dermology, after being part of the family for about 8 years already, I finally got the chance to live out my dream, which was always wanted to create more opportunities within my team. Everybody works with us for so long, but do you want to be in that position for the rest of your life? No, you also want to grow. You also have goals, and that's my passion, is to make sure my team can grow with the brand. And so the next step is to create more opportunity, and that's to create more branches to get a aspiring leader who's a therapist to go to another location and run that practice by themselves. So that's how Val de Vie, my clinic in Val de Vie in Paarl, was born. I love the Cape Winelands, obviously growing up there.
She went back to Cape Town, people.
I went back to my roots.
She went back to her roots, yes.
Yes. And that's how my branch there started. It's about 1 year old now. And then recently we just launched our 3rd branch in Pretoria.
Okay, in die Jacaranda stad,
In die
né?
Jacaranda
Met die
stad.
persblommetjies vir Jacaranda FM.
Yeah, definitely.
And there you've got it, guys. Be the difference you want to see in the world. And I mean, that's exactly what I believe Lourette is doing on a daily basis, not just for her clients, but also the people she surrounds herself with in a work environment.
Absolutely.
Lourette, from my side, that is it for today. As author and motivational speaker Jim Rohn always says, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. And today, we mindfully focused on the skin.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing.
Lourette du Toit, all the way from Dermology Africa.
I'm Izelle Hoffman. Thanks for joining me as we journey towards mindful living. Find more at jacarandafm.com. Click on Jackpot.